Hello again, and welcome to the Never Enough. Oh my God, I'll never get this right. The Never Enough Rally Chat with myself, Mr. Volvo's son, Cody, and our special guest, Chris, who has decided to slum it with us this evening after much short notice. All right, who's got that on in the background? God damn it, man! Seriously,
how many live feed going?
You turn it off.
It's
okay.
Off. We're good.
So Chris, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. I promise you nothing out of this other than at least a conversation about probably nothing.
Perfect.
But we'll talk about rally cars and Jacob, literally, we will talk about cars. There you go. So, as I always ask everyone, please explain how you got into this horrible / wonderful sport we shall call rally.
Oh man, it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short. So my dad actually got my brother and I into go-karting. We were like 6 years old. He grew up racing go-karts with his brothers. So he got us into it. We had a little dirt oval at our farm, and we got into some tar go-karting, and it used to get canceled all the time. It was like, yo, it rained, it's canceled. Like, it's a little windy, canceled. So we were actually coming back from a canceled go-kart race, and we just happened to be coming. Grew up in New Hampshire, if anyone doesn't know, or at Maine, sorry. And now we're coming back to New Hampshire, and we go past the Mount Washington Auto Road, and the hill climb was happening. So there's a bunch of cool cars like buzzing around, and so we pulled in, and kind of the rest is history. We fell in love with the sport, which, I mean, hill climb and rally similar enough. There was rally cars there, obviously.
Right.
And just so happened that I'm from Bethel, which is where the New England Forest Rally is. So it was like the people we met there were like, this is cool. What do we do next? And they're like, well, in a few months, there's another event. And so we used to spectate it. Both events.
What kind of vintage was that? When was that?
Oh, shoot. This would have been like 95.
Wow, like way before my time.
Oh, Cody,
I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, I was only 4. Man, you guys are old.
I was like 17.
Holy shit!
I know.
Wow, I did not realize
substantially older than I thought you were, man.
Wow.
Carry on. Sorry.
Right.
But yeah, so, just kind of hung around the sport. My brother and I would go like pick up rocks at Team O'Neill for like seat time. And because same thing, close to the house. And I actually went to Team O'Neill when I was 12 as a birthday present. So I was their youngest student ever, and got to do like a private one day, and then practiced at my house. When I was 15, I actually bought my first rally car. It was just a cage shell. I was actually an instructor that worked at O'Neill's, was moving. His wife didn't know about it. So he's like, yo, I need to sell this thing. So I bought it with my own money, and spent the next few years in high school building it into a full car. Didn't have anything really. Had a junkyard car. I actually took apart my street car. My only like running daily driver was a Jetta. So I took that apart to put into my rally car. Drove a van for a year in high school. Like, my parents had some old shitty delivery van that I drove instead of like my cool little Jetta GLI. Awesome. And then the year I graduated was the first year I ran Maine Forest Rally, and then I did the winter rally that year and all that fun stuff. So yeah,
see, that's dedication when you rip an entire car apart just to put your rally car together.
Oh, I mean, I tell you what, though, a Mark II Golf was a good car to start in that time, just because there were so many of them. They were so cheap.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I cannot find them.
Oh, well, no, definitely not out east. You can still find them around here.
Yeah.
I was waiting like
without giant holes in them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, there is.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like all the meth heads have like slammed them out,
true.
stanced them, and drilled holes in the body. So you get holes in the bodies from some other way.
Yeah.
Because they thought it was a good idea.
Yeah. Gone are the days of the $50 Mark II Golfs.
That is all right. I'll give you that.
I tell you what, when I started, I mean, they were like the Subaru. There was more Golfs than anything. It was the car to have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they're
back in the 90s, there wasn't a WRX in the States, so nobody thought Subaru were cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
to be fair, this was 2005, my first rally.
All right, so there was a couple WRXs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started off in a Golf. You seemed to do well with yourself. I mean, let's be real. Like, you didn't even come onto my radar, which is the worst radar on the planet, until you came out and hung out with the Nameless guys in the BRZ.
Wow.
Now, your story here. So you're doing the
missed out a
parade
lot,
lap at PIR. Okay, I just out of the corner of my eye, I caught you goosing the BRZ, and this giggle cackle thing came from the car, and it was you laughing uncontrollably at the power of that thing, and I instantly liked you. So, but yeah, no, that was the first time I had ever heard your name or anything, and you know, I mean, from there I kind of figured out a little bit more about you, but. But
Well,
yeah, I mean,
before that though, there was the Scion, and then there was the
I'm
WRC
talking about
Academy.
my shitty radar.
Dude, you missed out on so much.
Oh, I did. No, I was
way
the
before
worst.
that.
I was the worst fucking, like, I barely pay attention to this stuff as it
There was
is.
some like Dirtfish stuff in there, like way before then. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the quick
has been around.
rundown of cars. That's probably the coolest thing.
like
I don't actually remember.
I'm a rally whore. I think Chris out rally whores me.
Heck yeah, you take what you can
Yeah.
get. No, so yeah, my first car was my Golf, and then I was actually fortunate enough. I got to run in the middle of that. I got to run a SRT4 for an event actually out in Oregon. I rolled that. That was good fun. And then I actually ran the Natural Rally R32 for Washington one year in open class, which was a cool, actually it was the first car I drove with proper suspension. I remember it was Rigers because they gave me a shirt. And so ever since then I was like, I need Rigers on whatever I run. Because that was like the one thing that stuck out. So yeah, I ran that thing for an event, but still had my Golf in the mix. And actually, the way I got the Scion ride was pretty neat. So I did, I taught a group of guys that Ken brought out or sent out to Team O'Neill, and Brian Scotto was one of them. So Brian Scotto is Ken's the guy behind the camera, essentially thinks up all the crazy stuff. And so taught him, stayed in touch a little bit, but just had a blast that week. And probably a year later, I get a call from this guy, Gordon Ting, that worked for 0 to 60 magazine in New York. And was like, listen, I got your name from Brian Scotto. We built this Scion rally car for SEMA, except it was not a real rally car. It was just for show. And we'd love to build a real one, have you help us because we don't know a thing, anything we're doing. And then have you drive it for an event, maybe to see what happens. And so they built it at a shop out in LA. They only did drift cars, so they really didn't know much, but they, could fabricate. They could build some nice stuff.
Right.
The only issue was it was pretty much a stock car, so it was like stock brakes, stock gearbox. I mean, actually had Tane group in suspension on it, which was pretty cool. And then even the wheels were just so soft. What were they? They were oh god.
Oh, they were T37s.
Yeah, good God. I mean, the thing would fall.
What?
Yeah, those things were
What?
terrible.
Yeah. But they were oh, Jesus.
So I may or may not have had some beers with somebody that had some insight. The first ones they put on the car were the non-gravel ones.
Yeah, that's literally I ran that for the first 2 years.
Yeah, and then when ACP got in the car, all of a sudden they had the gravel spec ones that are still terrible. Like, they still oval so bad.
Yep. And so anyway, so
Z Rally wheels, a bad name, but those are bad.
But so anyway, so I ran an event with that, actually with Ron Zaris co-drove for me. So he, same thing, works for Hoonigan, Ken, one of the guys in the mix. Absolute riot. The car was slow as can be. There's actually somewhere on YouTube. What was it? What was the event? Actually, it was Oregon. And there were, I don't know the stages, but one of the stages, literally, they have a shot of my feet. They clipped it in, and I'm to the floor for a good 10 minutes, literally to the floor. Like, I'm dabbing the brakes a little bit, but it's just nothing. The thing is just so slow. Anyway, so I run that for a season or for a few events, continued to run my Golf. And then the following year, they were like, all right, Scion's pumped. We're going to build a brand new car. We're going to turbo this thing, get proper brakes. It'll be the real deal. And so I was like, sure, I'm into that. And right about that time, I got a call from Ford, and they were like, listen, we got the Fiesta. We want you to drive it. And I'm like, listen, like I'd love to drive like a proper rally car, but I already told these guys I was going to drive with them. Like, you know, I don't want to kind of screw them. And so we show up to Snowdrift, and the car was like really the same thing with a different livery. Like, sure, it was a new car. It came with sponsorship, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather be broke. And they were paying me. I was actually getting paid to run this thing. Yeah, it was nuts. Like, I think it was like $3,000 an event.
Wow.
Yeah, on top of everything else getting paid for. And so, of course, it's like, I made it. Like, I'm the man. I'm driving a toaster, but I'm the man. And so Snowdrift is just a shit show. Like, the car is just not sorted out. Like, literally the same stage, one of the night stages, we hit a bump and the light pods fly off, just disappear. Just like one stays hung on for a second and then disappears. And then a few miles later, we run out of fuel, like just out of gas. And so we get towed to the end. We're down by like 15 minutes. And we actually make all the time back except for like 40 seconds, which was cool.
Wow.
And anyway, so after that event, I called up Ford and I was like, listen, like, like I'm in. And so they were in. I told Scion and, you know, the boys, I'm like, listen, sorry, like I can help you find somebody else, but like I'd rather be broke but driving a proper car and like winning shit than, you know, being second, third in a car that's just not proper or fun to drive. And don't get me wrong, it was cool, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't an R2.
Right.
And so then Ford was like, yeah, you're in, cool. And so they shipped Team O'Neill a car and all the parts. And the parts came as like a jumble of like an R2 tarmac setup, an R2, some gravel, some stuff just missing. And they were like, cool, have it at 100 Acre Wood. And it's like, yeah, sorry, no chance. And so me and my wife, I've got pictures of us at like 2 a.m, like, you know, eyes are just bloodshot. She's like ripping the wiring harness apart. Like, we're building this thing by ourselves. And we didn't make it out west. That was when they went from Snowdrift, I think, to Snowdrift, 100 Acre Wood, Washington, Oregon, and then STPR. And so we missed all 3 of those and made it to STPR. Literally, whoever's
No, you're fine. Jacob will just be shit-faced by the end of the thing.
And,
I'm pacing myself. I am pacing
smart.
myself.
And so we towed to STPR and towed through the night, which, I mean, it's like an 8-hour drive, but we got there the morning of the rally. Like, recce didn't happen. We didn't do recce, didn't sleep at all. Brought it to scrutineering, and they were having some issues because it was a 2-door car or a 4-door car, and they only had a homologation for the 2-door, and they weren't sure. Anyways, we run this thing, absolutely insane car, the coolest thing. If you ever get to drive like a proper little front wheel drive, it's a riot. And so then I did that for a year with Team O'Neill, and then the following year, Ford said, you know, we want you to do the same thing. What do you need? And I said, nothing to do with Team O'Neill. I'd love to do this on my own. And so they gave me my own car. Actually, I wrote Ford a check for $1 for an R2 package and a street car. And so picked that up in Detroit, which is cool as heck, and then built another one, and then that's the gray car that I had Dirtfish on for a bit. And within that time, Ford also said they'd help out a bit if I wanted to do some WRC stuff. And so I was lucky enough to go over there and rent that. And while I was working at Team O'Neill, I actually got Dirtfish to sponsor me, which is kind of cool. And so they wrote me a good check, and they've always been awesome. Love that place. And so, yeah, I was able to run some WRC events, which, I mean, insane. My credit score is still crap because of it. You know, like we got some crazy stories with that. But definitely worth it. Wouldn't change that for a thing. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
And then got back from that, and in the following year, I actually had a 2-year contract with Ford, and they said because Ken used up so much of the budget in Rallycross with wrecking stuff that they couldn't give me parts the following year. And so, you know, R2 can run a full season without many parts. Like, it's a pretty proper car, like maybe some brake pads. But the next year, it's like, okay, this thing needs, you know, gearbox rebuild at the least. Engine's probably good, but it needs some stuff freshened up. And they were like, listen, sorry, we can't help you with parts like we did last year. Like, the parts, you're going to buy them. And I was like, man, you know, and this was right at the time that Rally America like doubled their entry fee just overnight. Yeah. And And so I had all the same sponsors on board for the same amount. And I was like, listen, I barely made it last year. Like our car got repossessed. Like shit's not working out. And now, like, I don't even have parts. So I told them, I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, you can have the car back. And so literally, like, I had to give the car back and they'd give me $1 for it. Luckily enough, I was able to sell it. And they were happy with that. But I was just done with rally. I was like, I'm so over this. I've spent every single penny. Like, I'm just so burnt out. It went from being like a fun sport that I'd, hang out with buddies, we'd go across country, we'd go race, to just like, I have to win, I have to finish, I can't break my stuff because I can't afford to fix it, but it looks like I can afford to fix it, do all this cool stuff with it, but I can't. So I was it. And
so what year was that?
This would have been 2012.
Okay.
So I won the championship that year, and it would have been 2013 that I was like, nope, sorry, I'm out. And then I guess it was a full year. I didn't even do Maine, like my home event. I didn't have a car to run. And then the next year, I did New England in a B-Spec car. And then Nameless called me up and they were like, yo, you want to run our BRZ? We're building this rocket ship. And I'm like, yes. And then it was fun again. It was like, I mean, if you guys know the Nameless Performance guys, they're awesome.
Yes.
Absolute riot. Like everyone that works in the shop. So went down, made some cool videos with them, ran some events. We brought it to Vegas. I mean, ripping that thing on the Vegas Strip. And it's got the Hollinger gearbox with the potentiometer and the shifter. So literally you can be ripping along and then just crack the shifter and the thing will bang a flame, like a massive flame out of the exhaust, like the coolest. And so yeah, ran that for a few events and actually introduced those guys to Ryan Turek, who then, or my brother did, but then they started doing drift stuff. And then they called me up. They're like, listen, drift is way more like eyeballs than rally. Like, sorry. So rally was kind of over with them. But it was right around the time that I was working. I started working where I am now, which is the coolest place on earth. And so I was like, yeah, I don't really have time to rally as much anymore. And so then I kind of took a little time off. And then finally we brought my daughters to Empire State Rally, which is about 10 minutes from where we live. And it was freezing cold, raining, like I'm shivering, and my daughters are just in love with it. And my wife looks at me and she's like, yo, I think it's time we get another rally car. Like this is the coolest thing.
That's a decent lady you got there. I mean, let's be real here.
I mean, she's the man, but not a man. She's
yes, well,
you get it. So then, yeah, I knew. I saw John Reed's car, the Corolla, when I was out with the Nameless guys. We actually went to Portland Speed, which is his shop, was right next door, and got the Nameless car tuned, and his car was there. I was like, yo, this is cool. Like, talk to me. And this is actually Beams motor, before he did too much work to it. And so then, yeah, a few years later, he's like, yo, I'm selling this thing if you want it. And I was like, I do, but I don't have any money. So I got nothing. And so thought about it for a few months. And then my wife's like, we need to get a car. And so we figured it out. I literally sent him a $5,000 deposit with no other money to pay for the rest of it. I was like, I'll figure it out, John, but it's mine. Do not sell this to anyone else. And then, and so now we'll do a few events here and there. My best friend co-drove for me in Maine. Like, he's never co-driven before.
Nice.
He actually did awesome. It was a riot, like just so much fun. So it's back, and I'm never going back. Well, I say never, but I never want to go back to like not enjoying it anymore. Like, just have some fun, beat around through the woods.
Yeah, I mean, have zero exact same history as you with shit like that, but I can relate to the last part of like, I want to get to a point where it's just enjoyable and not this like, not that it was ever a job, but sometimes it always felt like it was stressful and you're like always pushing to make the next one. And yeah, especially now that you got kids, like, God, I got a 3-year-old and she thinks cars are about the coolest thing on the planet. And oh man, she loves sitting in dad's race car. And I mean, shit right there is the like 90% of the reason I want to do any of this anymore. So so good for you. I'm glad that you made it back. Sometimes we all need a break, and we make it back to Philly. All right. So Al Dante asked something about, was that the Will Orders battle?
Oh, that was with the 2-wheel drive championship.
Yep. Yeah. So that was 2012, Washington, and he actually, all I had to do was, I think, finish better than 5th. He actually won. No, did he win the event? No. So yeah, I had to finish 5th or better, I think, and then but we were battling the whole weekend. He was always quicker. I mean, that car he had was insanely fast, way faster than an R2.
Oh,
He's fast. The dude's just nuts. But he had some issue like towards the end, and we ended up winning the event and then winning the championship, which was cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that dude is just insane. Like I'd love for him to come back. It was always fun running with guys that were quick. You know, it's something to chase after. Like I see like, you know, David Higgins, and it's like the guy could just show up and just drive and he would be the best. And then Oliver showed up this year and it was like, oh shit. Like, you know, he's quick. Or like, you know, I guess Pastrana would show up here and there, but you just never want to get complacent with like, you know, if you're actually trying to be fast, you got to always drive with guys that push you.
Right.
Yeah, I remember at Oregon Trail when Will showed up with his S14 or S15.
I don't know.
14. No, 13.
14.
It was like a proper Sylvia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
that car showing up.
Yeah,
it was a 240, Japanese 240.
Yeah.
And just absolutely blown away by how fast he was. I'm like, who is? I've never even heard of this person before. I'm just some kid in the Pacific Northwest that likes rally racing, and then all of a sudden, this person from some little island shows up and absolutely destroys, just killing it.
Did you say Little Island?
Yeah.
I mean, Australia.
Well, it's
not that little.
It's not that little, but it's like
no, whatever, that whole continent thing. But what year was that? What year did they come over? Was that 12 or 13?
12, yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture from. Anyways, carry on.
I'm feeling very old in like the rally stuff now.
Yeah.
I just think I wasn't around for that long, and now it's like 2012, and I was like, I was there doing stuff at a rally.
Yep.
See, I didn't get into rally until 13, and now I'm like way too into rally, which is the weird part.
Yeah, well, you missed a good chunk of like the weird stuff and the weird people and.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but then like
people.
I don't know, man. Like
Rally
out of
people
nowhere,
are
it went
weird.
from like the grassroots level, and then holy fuck, I'm like right at the top, and it's terrifying. And that's like Chris's whole thing of, oh man, getting back to when it's fun. Like I totally get that. It's so stressful at rallies. Like we have sponsors that we're trying to perform for, and we're trying to fight for a championship. And now that's why running my car, it's like, oh man, I have no one to compete against because my car is so slow that it's literally just to have fun with. That's the only reason I own it.
Well, but that's I don't know. That's the friggin' yellow nugget behind me. It's never going to be a fast car, but it's fun.
Oh man. So I'm not going to lie. I have totally thought about turning, hold on. This is weird. Turning one of those into a rally car. That would be a lot of fun.
There was a friggin' rally car.
Yeah, somebody
there was
used
up
to
in
run
Canada.
one. Yep.
Yeah.
Legend.
Legend.
I'm going to probably say that's a bad idea, but what do I know?
I think there's ways to make it cool, but like deceitfully cool.
Please explain.
You know who I think's doing it right is
like you're talking like a Hemi swap or something, right?
No, like something like high revving 4-cylinder rear wheel drive, like
sure,
because that's
swap a Prius.
But why in a Prius?
Because everyone would be like, "Oh, it's a Prius. That's terrible," and then it would make all the proper sounds.
All right, I don't disagree with that. Would be an amazing idea if it was like done and sitting in front of you.
I'll figure it out.
But only if it was done and sitting in
I'll
front of you.
figure it out. It'll be fine. I don't think a 4-cylinder would fit in the engine bay. It's kind of small.
Dude, there's guys doing V8 swaps in those things. So
yeah, but have you seen one of those? They like stretch the body and stuff.
No, they don't. You just lose interior space.
Yeah. The dashboard sticks are pretty far on those new ones. But Chris, you were saying something about a good car. You're like, you know who has a good car?
No. The right recipe right now is so Dave at Rally Ready has, I think, 4 or 5 GCs that are like
all of them.
dude, the perfect. And so he and I were joking and like totally would get one of those just to run with whoever runs one and make your own class. Who gives a shit where you finish? But like, you have your own little awards after. Literally, you could almost like Max Attack did. You kind of poach a series and like, we don't care where we are in your series, but this is how we ended up, and have your own podium and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I know in Pacific Northwest they had like a Geo Metro group going on.
I love that
for a
thing
while.
though. The
There's a whole bunch of
car?
people that raced Geo Metros together.
yeah,
It's like it's crazy.
There was like a turbocharged one. Okay, I found the photo. Now I got to figure out how to share the damn screen. Hold on.
Yeah.
I
If there's
thought
ever
you knew
another
how this
NASA
worked.
event, we could do the Moose Cup again with all the Volvos.
the Moose thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
what was this?
Oh, it was like
Okay, so speaking of wheel orders,
Yeah. So
okay,
this is nuts.
this was a tire. So this was fun. This was within the rules of a legal rally tire. So this was like, what was it, day 2 or something of Olympus, or what was it, Nameless event or whatever it was, up at the track, right?
Yep.
So they shaved the tires down to like within the legal limits of it all.
Yeah.
And he was
That's
amazingly
genius.
fast.
dude, one of the best set of tires on the Volvo was a
So
set of like
genius.
super worn out Pirellis. They were great on tarmac.
That's rad.
I don't know if I have a picture of it, but I actually have tires from that event. My gravel tires. What was the brand? Like Lassos or something, like some off-brand.
Oh, the Lassas.
Oh my
Lassas?
god! I don't know if I have a photo. Let me see if I do. But they were the worst. Like I've never had tires chunk so bad. I was literally coming in with cords, and I think I had 6 tires for the event. So I would go like to go back out on the last loop. It's like which tires have the least amount of cord, like chunks ripped.
Gee,
So
that was like
actually-
the Hoosiers at what was it, Olympus last year with Dave Clark.
No. Was it? Oh,
my-
yeah.
he went out for one loop and killed a brand new set of tires.
The other tire that was terrible at Olympus was the Yokohamas. They did not hold up well at all. My computer's trying to turn off.
All right, thanks, Demon Spawn.
What just happened?
Oh my! Okay,
my
I'm
God.
muting you, Cody, because I don't know what's going on.
Cody
with
can only respond in the texts or in the live message now.
Okay, so somebody asked what it was like filming with FY Racing.
Oh my god!
Which, okay, side note, is probably one of my favorite videos of you. What was it, STPR or something? You were like behind the scenes doing interviews.
Oh yeah.
That is what Rally needs, people.
Hilarious.
Holy shit, that's what we need. Anyways,
Oh my god! So good. So yeah, that those boys were just a riot. Oh my god, they were doing it right. They just happened to have enough money to do it like with a proper car.
right.
But we brought their buddies. You know, it was a big party all weekend. So anytime you get to hang with them, it was fun. But I was actually there crewing for my buddy Danny Grant, and just happened to run into them, and I stole their mic, and it just turned into something so fun. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so real questions here. Carol Baskin, did she feed her husband to the tigers?
No, without a question.
Oh
Absolutely.
my god.
Dude,
Oh, I got something on this. So I listened to this podcast because I get bored at work. There was they have all like the stuff that wasn't included in the docuseries was that her little meat grinder thing was so small that she couldn't grind them up in the meat grinder, and that cats don't actually eat all of the body like pigs. So I mean, I don't know.
that's one thing that I've learned from movies is use pigs.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Use pigs.
This is true.
There's another theory that came out that was like the scumbag dude at the end.
Which one?
The
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
like
What do you
the,
mean? You literally just described the entire
I
cat.
can't remember his name. The guy who wears the
The pinto
bandana and like the
mustache guy.
flat brimmed hat.
Oh
Like-
yeah,
The Las Vegas dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's a theory that that he is the same as Carol Baskin's first husband. That
I
was the
saw
abusive
that.
one.
It's hilarious.
Fan theory.
Anyways, I love it.
I don't even know anymore. Anything could
Yeah.
happen with that, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it sounds totally normal at this point."
Oh my god! How
I watched that show, and it was just like, I mean, you had to shut it off because you were so pissed off and like saddened about people in life in general, and
No, I watched it and my jaw just like hung open the entire time. I'm like, how is this real life?
So,
This has
so
to be fake.
my biggest takeaway is that you can buy a tiger for $2,000.
Right. That's
Seriously?
I'm
insane.
in.
Now you're just part of the problem, Chris.
Stop
No,
rallying,
no. Here's
stop rallying and get cats, giant cats.
Well, here's a funny story. So, I grew up on Pooh Corner Farm. Like my mom, had a flower shop, and it was called Pooh Corner Farm. And we had a donkey, Eeyore. We had a pig, which was Piglet, all miniature. We had a wallaby, which was Roo. We had rabbits. So shit, for $2,000 we could have had Tigger. Like what?
Yeah.
oh, that's true.
Damn.
Dude, that's like the price of like a decent, like a mid-range horse.
Yeah, I think the wallaby was half that.
Or for my rally car, I would have much rather had a cat to ride around.
God.
What the hell is Robert sending me?
It's the perfect meme that involves the $2,000 cat.
Oh yes, I'm not going to show that though.
Don't show it on the internet.
No, don't show that on the internet. God,
Robert,
I couldn't find that picture of my tires from Olympus.
that's all right.
What's up,
They
Cody?
Robert, what are you drinking?
Oh, it's sake.
It's like that is a big ass glass of sake. That is a huge glass of sake.
I like Chris's face is like, what the hell?
I mean, who drinks? I thought you didn't even drink sake at home. I thought that was only at a restaurant.
I was at the grocery store the other day, and
Wait, they
How to get-
sell it at the grocery store?
Yes,
yeah,
you can,
Oh,
it's not
What do you
like
mean? What?
This is news to me.
That's something they brewed at like Chinese food restaurants.
no,
Like
that's
sushi.
Baiju.
oh yeah.
Baiju is if you ever
No,
go to China, get some Baiju if you can. It is like
Any-
the gnarliest liquor on the face of the planet.
Any
No,
place with like a semi decent selection of alcohol wines or whatever you can get sake for.
But no, yeah, sake is good. It's good stuff. You can have it without sushi. You can have it just cold in a glass. It's refreshing on a nice warm afternoon.
Dave Clark says apparently this is what happens when you tune in late. We're not actually talking about rallying anymore.
Oh, and to answer Jacob's question is a filtered cold sake,
Oh, okay.
not unfiltered. Which I would have preferred. It was just like 5 times the price, and I was definitely going for like the $6 bottle of sake for like
See,
a
now-
wine bottle size.
Now I'm curious, but I don't want to be. Okay, so
What are you
Chris,
curious
we all.
Oh shoot! I just found the comments. I was like, "Where are you seeing these?"
Oh yeah, sorry, that's off to the right.
Oh yeah, it's in the side on the right.
Yeah, you can also go to YouTube and like respond to it in the comment section there.
But mute that tab.
Oh yeah,
This is
Yeah,
good.
Jacob,
like
you
me.
are wrong. You are wrong. Not all filtered is cold, and not all unfiltered is warm. So I've
Yes,
been told. I used to think the exact same thing, but it is not true.
Robert proves you wrong because he's doing it that other way.
I got proven wrong by an owner of a sushi restaurant. It was a very humbling experience. Not really like I wasn't proven wrong. I was like, oh, like so, like I'm like asking about the different sakes. And I was like, oh, you know, like
Dave in
Cold as
30
hell.
minutes.
Yeah, if 30 minutes, I give him 15 shots.
I give
and
him
he'll
30.
be-
oh, come on.
Well, actually,
Dave.
in like 15, Robert's going to be shirtless.
And then he's gonna pull out the whole bottle and just start taking pulls off the bottle because that's Robert.
That was for you guys off the air after
Yeah,
the
well-
episode had ended.
but now, yeah, you've given a driver. Anyways, so back to rally stuff. Okay, so Chris, give me your best like hillbilly bad car idea. I'm fond of pickups.
So if you are on Instagram at all and you just search the hashtag Chop Top Challenge, that's probably the worst idea. So basically, me and my brother-in-law and a buddy took a Honda Civic and cut the roof and windshield off of it, and with like 20 other idiots in March drove from Chicago to New Orleans. And And actually, okay, so the guys that started this, Matt Johnston, who made Easier Said Than Done,
Yeah.
Wagon Attack. Did you ever see if you
Wagon
want?
Attack was good.
Yeah.
Wagon Attack.
So the dude that his wagon, he's the guy that started Chop Top Challenge. But anyway, so a little tie into some rally guys, but yeah. So I've done it 2 years now. But last year we didn't make it. We were going to Chicago to Austin. We actually ended at Rally Ready, and we had a Cadillac Seville, the front wheel drive V8.
Yeah.
And it caught on fire on the highway. and so we ditched it in Beggs, Oklahoma, got a rental car, and made it the rest of the way. But
did you cut the roof off the rental car?
Did what?
Did you get the roof off the rental car?
I mean, we got the full insurance. But no. But at the end, we did do a tug of war. That was like the final challenge, and so we pulled the rental car up for some tug of war. But the final tug of war was against a Porsche Cayenne. So the guy that owns or started Grid Life, he did it in a Porsche Cayenne that he cut the roof off. So it was against that, a Jeep.
Oh God, Porsche guy.
There it is.
Oh my gosh!
I'm surfing these just.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool thing ever.
Good shit in here.
So we had a tug of war against a Previa, a Jeep, and a Porsche Cayenne, like a three-way. And the Porsche beat both of them, and the Previa caught on fire.
Hold on. Be clear, the Previa was already on fire to begin with.
But yeah, absolutely right. This year it was actually supposed to go from Kentucky, Louisville to the coolest.
That's so awesome.
It was supposed to go from Louisville to Key West, and it got canceled because obviously this whole shit hit.
Right. Yeah, being stuck at home.
Yeah.
Well, but are you working on like cars and rally stuff? I mean, I've completely gutted my engine and decided to why not?
Yeah. Matt, what are you doing?
What?
I've been trying to figure out what you were doing with the engine.
Okay. Well, okay. So Chris,
just some engine things, just
all right. So Chris,
I get on Instagram and it's like, oh, the engine's out. And it's like,
the engine is out. Okay.
And
so
then the next
first gen RX-7, right?
Down.
Right. So this guy decided to shove an EJ22 from a Subaru in it.
Oh God.
Yeah. Right?
You took a car with probably the worst engine ever built and put the second worst engine ever built in it.
Yeah.
No, because the EJ22 was rock solid. That was before they were crap. Anyways.
Oh.
So
Dave Clark is not wrong.
God damn it. Anyway, so it was a bad idea, and it hasn't. I mean, it works. It runs. It drives. I've ran an event with it. But so the 2.5s are better, but worse. They can be made better. How about that?
Yeah.
So, but when I put this thing all together, I never really had the 2.5 in mind, and so the steering shaft is very close to the head of the 2.2, and the 2.2 has a very compact head design, and the 2.5 does not. So I tried to move the steering shaft to get around the 2.5, and that's not going to happen. So in the downtime, I've disassembled my 2.2 and regasketed it. I mean,
Can't you put the 2.2 heads on the 2.5?
Yeah, but then you got like an oversized. I mean, so that's what Jacob's got in his Brat, and it works really good. But it's also one of these like it falls on its face at about 4,500 RPM. So because it's a bigger motor with these dinky little heads that don't flow worth shit.
So there's enough room in the front of an RX-7. You should make that thing all-wheel drive.
Yeah, but I mean, Millen already did that. So,
yeah, and it was cool as hell.
No, it was cool as hell. No, and I mean, like, so when I got the car, it was a rolling shell with a logbook. So that was what, and I don't know if you've ever looked at a price of a rotary lately. Yeah, you're $2, $3, $4,000. I mean, all the way up. So
I don't know. Have you been on Craigslist recently? You can get a blown up rotary for like $100.
yeah, have you looked at a rebuild kit for one?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's going to blow up again, and it'll be another $100 for another blown up one. You just buy it pre-blown up, and then just save everybody the trouble.
No. But so it was an idea, and then I ran across the guy out in Ohio that he makes bell housings for the 4G63s. So he turns
the third worst engine.
What? So he turns them 90 degrees.
Wow.
I know, right? And,
wait, Chris, why the hate on the 4G63?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, I mean, you put anything more than like 10 pounds of boost to it, it's blown up.
No,
What's a stock motor?
No, not on a 6-bolt. On a 7-bolt with the shitty oil squirter setup, yes, I will give you that. But the original 4G63s, those things are okay. So fine, an Evo motor. I mean, it's a 4G63. Anyways, regardless, so he does full aluminum castings. And so I pestered him for like a year and a half. And so he made me a bell housing to go to like a super transmission. So I've got this Subaru to the Toyota Trans and then Toyota 4Runner rear axle. And
it's because Toyota stuff doesn't blow up.
no, that's true. And when you're putting like no horsepower through it, it really doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
So
Dave Clark has some interesting comments going on. I want to know about some Iran-Contra scandal involving VRI and Subaru 16 valve engines.
yes, he was part of that whole thing. No, for real. Like he will send you all the documentation of him being part of it.
Saying in the comments is that he was a part of that whole thing.
Yes.
What?
But anyway, so I took it all apart
Anyways.
and I'm putting new gaskets in it just to like a preventative maintenance. What else am I going to do? I can't go anywhere. And all I can do is order shit online. So I ordered me some head gaskets. And
Drive up and get my rally car fixed because I'm too busy working on Danny's rally car.
you aren't working on Danny's rally car. That's the problem.
Yeah, look, it's right there. It's right
That's
there.
a Prius.
No, I mean in the lift right. The lift right there. It's invisible. It's cloaked.
No, it's not.
I'm in. Okay, wait. So where are we going? What was the question again? We had the Chop Top Challenge rally car. Matt, what's your terrible rally car idea? We got to make at least one round on this.
Well, no, I mean, I always fully support trucks as a bad rally idea because they're awesome.
I would do a
So,
Volkswagen.
Chris,
Sanrio
if you were to build a truck into a rally truck and it can't be a Ford Raptor, what would you build and why?
What was that little Mazda that you could put a 4G63 in?
Mighty Max.
The Mighty Max. I had one of those. Fucking awesome.
I own one. I'll sell it to you.
I don't actually know. I mean, I would probably build a 2-wheel drive Toyota.
Yes.
Yeah, because they don't blow up.
Yeah,
That's true.
The 2-wheel drive, like Toyota pickup trucks, are like surprisingly common for drifting now. At
yeah.
least in the Pacific Northwest. It's really bizarre.
It's because the rear ends don't blow up.
That's
Well,
probably true. Yeah.
They weigh nothing in the ass end, so you can slide around and do anything you want with it.
That's because Toyota frames are self-lightening.
That is true. Just give them enough time and they will self-lighten themselves.
Okay, before we go too far, Dave Clark totally made a dig at Matt with the
for
Mazda
sure.
new truck with the Mazda or the Subaru engine in it.
Mazda Repu with a Subaru.
Yeah, good luck finding a Repu. That's like on my list of like one of those vehicles if I ever find on Craigslist for sale. Like I will try to buy.
Down the street from my house, the guy's got 3 of them sitting in his yard.
Yeah, there is that the same guy with like 150 first gens RX-7s?
No, that was Alex knows that guy.
No. Well,
He said
never
he
mind.
was in Idaho.
No, there's a guy in like Puyallup that has a whole yard of
Oh, that sounds terrible.
RX-7s.
Tim, you're on drugs. We're not buying what you're smoking. Honda Ridgeline would be
Oh,
awesome.
gross.
That would be
Honda
like,
Ridgeline.
I even think that's a bad idea.
What about a Honda Ridgeline pre-runner?
No.
No, I mean anything with the word pre-runner in it really just makes it better, right?
Right.
But not only if it's followed behind Volvo wagon.
Oh, that's right. Volvo wagon pre-runner.
LS swapped Volvo wagon, long travel suspension, with enough room in the back so that you could sleep in it between days of the rally.
It's true.
That's where I'm at. That's my.
All right, Cody. If I
That
ever
is-
finish the Volvo wagon V8,
That is legit.
you and
my-
you're co-driving for me.
Oh heck yeah! I fit
And
in
you
Volvo.
guys can just sleep in the back.
The first rally I ever went to, I slept in the back of my pickup truck. It was great.
The very first rally I went to, Robert and I shared a bed, so it would be like old
Yeah.
times.
Oh, I fully support Dave's idea of the Volvo wagon pickup.
Oh yeah.
Talked about
Dude,
this
Volvo Minos are legit.
Yeah,
talked
those are
about
cool.
2 videos, like live streams ago, where the Volvo wagon is practically already a truck.
Yeah.
It basically is.
Yeah,
So- When I went to Diversi, Sweden this year, which was cool, even though there wasn't a ton of snow, it was still pretty awesome. But one of the weird things about driving around all these small towns is you realize like there's all these Volvo wagon pickup trucks, and it's part of like it's a class of vehicle for like kids to drive, and so they run 2 transmissions in line, so they can't get over like 40 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour.
Wait,
So
what?
it's like a Volvo tractor truck is what it is.
It's like
and-
Volvo Unimog.
Basically, yeah, minus the portal axles and 4-wheel drive, but basically the same thing, Cody.
That's
But they, but they all drive
It's
around with like
pretty
the orange
much
triangle
spot on.
on the back of them, but they're everywhere. And so like kids will have like the turbocharged versions with like large dump pipes on them. It's hilarious.
Wait, where is this?
Any town in Sweden, like that's rural, like slightly rural, like not a giant city.
Awesome.
It's super rad, yeah. I can't remember what they're called.
Okay, back to Tim's bad ideas. Tim, have you ever seen a synchro double cab that's not more than 50 grand?
Those are
Like,
Yeah, no,
they don't exist.
no, they don't.
I
Even a roached out friggin' synchro anymore is
if you find
synchro
synchro-
anything van bus.
if you find a synchro for anything under 20 grand, buy it. It's
Right.
totally worth the investment. They're so rad. And if you like hit the brake and the gas at the same time and just the right orientation, you can get the front top. Like,
of course you can.
like
Okay, so Chris, so tell me about your new toy for your Corolla that you texted me about.
Yeah.
You're
I
going
guess
like
why-
legit.
Why not? But I acquired a Sedev sequential gearbox for it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't need this at all. I mean,
No, nobody really does. I mean,
okay,
let's be real here.
What?
being somebody has been in the Purple Panda with that Hollinger out of the BRZ, I can tell you every A86 needs a sequential.
No, every
is so
rally car
epic.
needs it, but
Yeah.
does it need it?
So no joke. When you take like a Fiesta, sure the R2's got some engine bits, but you take like a regular Fiesta compared to one with a sequential, it's literally like adding 35 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's
so epic.
it's
It is
insane.
so epic.
But yeah, so at some point I'll put that in. Again, I didn't need it, so I may not. But
It's cooler.
They're
and
getting
I think I talked to a guy at Sedev, and I think they actually make a bell housing, or someone makes a bell housing for the beams motor. So like it'll be a direct bolt up when I buy this like $700 bell housing.
Is the beams similar to the 4AG
Uh,
or is it different bell housing?
I don't actually know.
Because I know Garth Ankeny in his Starlet has a sequential
Yeah, but he's got the 4G. Wait,
4AG.
4H.
Well,
I
no.
don't know.
Running
I
carbs.
imagine it's different. I mean, it's like from a 2001 car compared to like an 86 car.
I know, but like
I-
Toyota's like everything's the same. So
Yeah, I
Um,
think,
Matt
Same
Pullen says
problem.
no because
Wait.
he at least has one.
okay, Matt, what transmission is in your Corolla?
He's got the 6-speed. Oh, are you
Does
gonna
it
wait
have-
forever? He's got the 6-speed that came with the beams.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't have
dude,
the
everybody should beam swap. Dude, you can get an engine with a 6-speed trans, NECU for like what, $1,200?
Okay, if I yeah, okay, no, it's like $7 grand.
No,
yeah, oh yeah, it's so
I mean,
expensive.
No,
oh
no,
yeah.
no, your yellow car should have a beams motor.
No, it
Yeah.
should.
I mean, like,
No, I'm going to fully
okay.
admit it was a bad idea, but I'm writing this shitty idea out. I'm committed at this point. So committed, I'll just build another fucking car and go race that one.
Yeah, one
This
of those
can
Volvo
just-
wagons.
Free runner.
Yeah.
You've got the Volvo wagons behind the shop, behind the wall that you're sitting on. I can probably see one in the window if you move your head to the side.
Yeah. There's 2 wagons out there.
Yeah, just get a beams and a 6-speed and just slide it on in there. It's
I'm
been done.
fine with that. Let's do it. I will
Okay.
fully support that.
So
I'll even send you some links to give you some inspiration. It's
You've already
been done.
sent me every Beams Volvo swap link because
Oh,
you thought it was a
that's
good idea too.
wait, that's a thing? Why am
Yes.
I just thinking about this?
Because you're Cody and you don't.
Correct.
Yes.
I don't internet like everybody else internets. So I wait randomly.
What does
No
that
pants on.
I'm still on dial-up. Actually, that would make sense on the last couple videos that you've been on.
So I randomly get text messages from John Hoyenga about the Purple Panda. I haven't gotten one in like a year because I think he's broke. But the last text I got was it has GSXR throttle bodies and has electronic cruise control now. So not only does it have a Hollinger gearbox, but it has electronic cruise control and the Motec, all the Motec goodies, or
yeah.
controlling.
If you know John Reed at all, that you have to.
Yeah.
My car has cruise control.
It's tube front, and so the car is a pile of shit on the outside.
Yeah.
Everything inside is like proper, like 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive rally car.
Yeah.
And my name's still on the window. I'm waiting for John to like figure out how to finish this thing so we can go rally it.
What do you mean finish it? It is finished.
It's not finished. Somebody's got Matt Turner needs to rattle can it purple, and the front fender.
Oh,
They have a
God.
paint. They have a paint booth at their shop. Why are they rattle canning cars?
Because it's the Panda. You don't paint it nice.
No, that's
That car has been. How many cars is that right now? I think it's like at least 3 cars.
It definitely has Volvo 240 bits on it.
That is
Hold on.
true.
I mean, I don't know the history of my car, but it has 2 different quarter panels, a different roof. Like there's stitches everywhere. I mean, the chassis is garbage.
Hold on. Somebody find pictures of the wall ride to the moon.
The wall ride to the moon.
Oh,
Yeah, that happened. That was then in like a rally fail video, which was epic.
oh yeah.
that
I was
you and
watching a
John?
Raleigh Fell video and you were in there. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
My friend shows all of his students at the high school that video.
Okay, so Matt Pullen just mentioned a car. It's a Datsun 1200 that rallies up in Canada. I think it's come down to the States a few times. Are you guys familiar with this car?
No.
Yeah,
No.
It is probably like the most beautiful Datsun on the face of, like one of the most beautiful 2-wheel drive rally cars on the face of the planet. It is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful car.
Interesting. I'm looking that up.
Have you not seen this, Matt?
No, I live in a bubble.
Okay.
I have.
You know how we're gonna go do PFR this year?
No,
If it
we're
happens.
not.
No, if PFR happens this year, you and I are gonna go up and do PFR.
Am I? That's
Yeah,
news
we
to me. Okay.
We talked about this on the first video I was on.
Oh,
No,
that was so
actually-
long ago.
We
I
talked
mean,
about
come
it-
on.
Hold on. We talked about it in the comments.
Anyways, I'm going to PFR.
Yeah, and we'll race against this guy, and it'll be epic. It sounds amazing. It is the nicest 2-wheel drive car, like nicest
Wait.
vintage 2-wheel drive car.
Talking about the Datsun still?
Yeah,
It's like
Can I find a picture?
vintage, but it's like sequential shifter with like a carbon fiber shift lever and like carbon fiber full interior. It's a nice car.
So Dave is saying that it was 2 cars when he did the cage
That's probably true.
for
Is this
the
a
Purple
Datsun
Panda.
or a freaking Escort? Does it look like an Escort? I'm
It
totally a
It does
horrible
look
person.
like an Escort. It does.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does look like it.
Yeah, it's got, I think it has Escort fender flares on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
But
I don't know how I can't send you guys a direct link, but just copy,
Oh.
paste, just like
I
the old
found it.
days of the internet.
Matt
Right.
Poland, what engine is in the Datsun 1200? Is it a KA or is it an SR? Because
There's
he'll
a
know.
delay, so you have to wait for Matt to hear it and then type
I know
things.
he'll catch it up. He'll catch up eventually.
We'll catch up eventually. All right, so yeah, all right. I mean, that's a good looking car.
It
I
is.
tell you what, the Seamus
Yeah.
Burke, his
Oh,
Escort,
yeah.
that thing is proper. It's got like the Ford V6 EcoBoost or whatever.
No, it's not
Oh,
even EcoBoost. It's in A.
Oh, right. It's just the
Yeah.
full, but
So it's
still,
like 350 horsepower stock or whatever they make.
The
so good.
Duratec, or wasn't it some Duratec?
Yeah, it's the V6 Duratec.
But
That thing is
that's-
awesome, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, that thing's pretty proper.
There's so many proper cars I'll never own.
I mean, just got to hire a race car engineering shop to build you a race car. That's what you
Nope,
get.
don't do it.
Is that it? Is that all I got to do?
Cody, I said
I'll go.
engineering, not just race car shop.
Crap. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find this.
What are you trying to
The most-
find?
The most epic picture on the internet. Oh God, what the hell?
No, I don't want to see this.
No,
It's
here.
probably
No, it's not porn. I promise.
Nah, it's the Purple Panda nosedive.
It was nose up. Thank you very much. Share that, Matt.
I'm like, am I not
That's
seeing the
what?
link? What's going on here?
I'm not seeing it. Oh, did you put it in the private chat? Why didn't you just share your screen?
I did. I clicked share screen.
No, you didn't.
Oh, hold on. Wait. Well, I want to do this. Wait. Oh,
I don't know, man. You and
Let's go.
technology. Oh.
Gotta figure out a good question for Chris. Tell us more stories.
That's not a question.
Chris, entertain us.
There we go. Try it.
Let's see.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, how is your daughter's grass track karting going?
Oh my God, so good.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah, that's nose up, but click through one photo and it's hard nose down.
No. Hold on.
Still reading them notes.
I'm still calling notes.
No, you're gripping that paper like you're shitting your pants.
Yeah, your head is definitely looking through the windshield at this point. That's a co-driver no.
Hold on. At no point did I think I was gonna lose. Okay, I thought we were gonna roll actually.
Well, the good thing is you're not going to lose a place in your notes because your thumbs are like thoroughly pressed through the paper. You can actually see the crease in the paper where your thumbs are at.
Have you watched?
Not going to lose your line.
No, have you watched the in-car?
Yeah.
No, I
land.
haven't.
No, so we land in the middle of the road. I'm like, does it move? And he clicks it into first. And he keeps going. I'm like, cool. And then I keep calling notes right where we went off. And at the end, both of us look at each other like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was rad.
Ugh.
Didn't he break something though? Like,
Well,
didn't he
we
break
broke-
like all the things?
We broke the tie arm thing in the front.
Yeah, the front control arm got
The
the
thing that
compression strut.
Yeah, whatever.
Or the
thing-
tension rod, I guess.
Tension rod, there we
It was a
go.
tension
That's-
rod, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It got welded on with bolts that we found in the trailer, and the front end got pulled out by a brat. It was rad.
Yes. That's how it
Solid.
should be.
But yeah, so there you go. Enjoy. I'm closing that now.
Nobody wants to look.
What a
that way.
classic.
You're a classy
It's a good
gentleman.
one.
So-
All right.
Chris, how many times have you been through the trees in rally cars? What's your crash to how many big crashes you been in?
Let's
Because you're
see.
fast, we know that. How many
Well,
crashes did
I
it
really,
take to get
I really
there?
couldn't afford to crash, so
I thought you were going to say that he was fat, and I was like, wow, Robert, holy shit.
you
How
know,
much-
put on. I mean, my first season, I didn't crash. Obviously a bunch of close calls, but my first car, I rolled the Golf at one point, LSPR, but I drove it out. I landed on the roof, and then Ken Block was literally a corner after me, which is good fun. And then probably my worst crash was WRC Wales. And I had never driven in ruts that were, I mean, WRC ruts are insane. It's like the car's scraping bottom everywhere. Like it actually wasn't that enjoyable in some spots. It was just miserable. And so being that I always worked and owned my own cars, I was literally driving out of the ruts in some spots. Like, this is terrible. Like, I'm going to break something. And so after a few stages, I'm like, there was like, a bunch of guys there that were insanely fast. I was like, yo, what the hell do you do with these ruts? They're like, send it, like jump in these. Who gives a crap? And I'm like, what? Like, this car's going to break in half. They're like, whatever. And so the next morning, I think we were like 6th in our class. And so I was like, all right, screw it. Like, we're going for it. And so like 3 corners in, I huck it in and it gripped. It was like, God, this thing's going. And then it just popped out of the ruts. And then as soon as you pop out of the rut, now I'm going like 30 miles an hour too fast for it was a right 4 minus or something. And just sent it off. And so there's a picture of me completely parallel with the road, but completely upside down. Like cars here, and I'm just upside down. You see the skid plate. And then I rolled 6 times in total, but the first one we landed, and then, it popped up and went again. And by like the 4th time it was going over, there was like Welsh dudes like walking next to us. And we were just like slowly rolling. I'm like, catch us. Like, this is miserable. And so we landed, and then they actually ran that stage twice. So we crawled up the side, crawled the bank. Some dude's like, oh, here's a pasty or whatever the hell they call them. So I ate that thing, and it started raining, and like the adrenaline crash was so hard, I fell asleep on the side of the stage as WRC cars are going by. Like, so I never spectated a WRC event, and so I'm like, all right, at least cool, we get to spectate. And I fell asleep and didn't even get to spectate. Like, rain, like shivering in my suit, and then a Unimog came with a big winch, dragged us up, and we actually drove the car back to service. And we got back to service, and all the guys were like, all the Ebb Sport guys were like, what are you doing? Like, why would you drive this thing? I'm like, because I need to get back to service. Like, we're running the next day. They're like, yeah, but there's trucks. There's like flatbeds that would tow you back. I'm like, fuck the hell with that. I didn't want to wait for a flatbed. And they're like, dude, you guys do it different in the U.S.
Yeah, we don't have big race teams with multiple cars.
Yep. And then in Portugal the following year, I ripped off my right rear wheel and axle on the last loop of stages, and we drove it back. I drove it back like 200K. You want to say hi? Look, see, not sleeping yet. What time is it?
No,
Go to bed.
And so we drive this thing back like 200 kilometers and did more damage, obviously, like dragging it through like the streets of Portugal. And we get back, and they're like, oh, yeah, so you obviously didn't read the rule book for this year. You have to finish with 4 rolling tires. Like, it's a new rule. But they're like, you drove it back for no reason, you idiot.
Oh, shit.
Your lips are chapped. Well, there's chapstick right over there.
Yeah, go find the chapstick, kid. I mean, come on.
Yeah, how do you not have chapstick hidden everywhere?
There you go. Robert's just like prepared.
Toolbox over there.
Super weird.
I'm sitting at like my work desk right now. I sit here for like 8 hours a day right now.
Right.
I have
open that.
Hey, Jared, these guys have all seen your YouTube karting video.
Yeah, it's rad.
You're
Yeah,
famous.
Yeah.
I aspire my daughter to be like you. She's 3 years old. She hasn't quite figured out the gas pedal in her.
That's how old Eliza is, kind of.
Yeah, my 3-year-old drives it, and the first time she drove it, she just like took off, made the first corner. I did it actually at my work, so on the track. And she turns like halfway and then just gives up and sends it off into the grass and hits the Armco with it. I don't know if I don't know how I can share video, but it was pretty funny. So that was her first experience. She can't even reach the pedals. She literally has vice grips on the pedals.
Sure.
Oh, that's so good.
A blanket and a seat behind her.
I had to build a pedal extension for the little, I don't know, what the hell are they called? Little Mattel. She got a race car
Power
looking
wheel.
thing. But Power Wheel. But she couldn't reach it. So I built this whole lever extension so she could reach it.
Yep.
She's still trying to grasp the whole turning, but she's 3. So, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Should get
I'm
it someday.
29 and can't figure out the turning thing.
No.
Yeah, no.
All right, Chris. So is there a rule that was made because of something that you did?
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Rule.
A rule?
Jeez. I feel like this is a loaded question. Oh, somebody asked that.
Somebody asked this. It's like there's a reason that people are no longer allowed to wear sandals in rally cars.
Oh man, I'm sure there is. I mean, I used to bend the rules all the time. Like actually this year at Maine, like registration. I always mess with registration, but I didn't give them any of my paperwork. I said, "Yeah, I'll be back," and then they just never. I just never went back. Insurance paperwork, nothing.
You farted too.
No, I just burped. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a rule somewhere. Actually, you know what rule really that I mean, actually, it fits right into you, Matt. But they used to not let you run different brand engines.
Yeah, so I
How
started.
miserable.
No, I know. So here was the thing. So I started this thing 10 years ago. So back when Rally America was still a thing. And so I used to bug Mike Hurst like constantly about like, look, I don't even care if I'm legal for a class. If I show up, will you let me run? And he at least gave me a yes. And I was like, okay, that's all I need. I don't give a shit. Shoot,
Yeah.
sorry. But it was just, it was a novel idea. It's not the worst. What the hell is Cody doing? Oh, just working around my shop. It was an idea. I had a free legacy wagon. I mean, like the entire chassis and engine harness is from a legacy. So there's just everything in it is Subaru. So at least I can find anything from a junkyard.
I
There
remember
was
when,
logic behind it.
So Al just popped up is you can't fix a leaking gas tank with a bar of soap anymore. I was actually there when that happened. It was at Olympus.
Wait, is that not like that's not in the rules, Al?
It's not in the rules.
They were not excited when he tried to restart the rally by fixing his leaking gas tank by taking a bar of Irish Spring and rubbing it on the leaking bit of his gas tank. The leak was stopped.
It's like every other stage, Don or Al were under there like rubbing soap on it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
horrible.
God.
I mean, that's hilarious, but
So one of the dumbest things I ever saw was oh God, what was the kid's name?
Was it? Because I do a lot of dumb things.
yeah.
He ran the Fiesta.
Oh, definitely. not
Dylan
me.
Denway. So Dylan rolls and his front windshield smashed, ripped out, whatever, and they don't have a spare windshield for his Fiesta, but they had a spare hatch. So
Oh, I
literally,
saw that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
like who makes up these stupid rules and then like, oh yeah, I guess that's a loophole.
Well, because he needed some laminated piece of glass or something over it, and it had like vinyl wrap or tinting on it or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he just needed to finish to get his championship.
At Idaho, you can run with goggles.
Well, yeah, but that's Idaho.
Yeah, anything goes. I wonder if you could do that at Olympus now or Tour de Force because they allow UTVs.
But no, it's still class based.
Okay.
They have the rules. If you're in a UTV, yes. But
Chris, what is your opinion on UTVs in rally racing?
Have you ever driven a UTV?
Yes, they're an absolute riot.
Okay.
I think they're amazing.
Okay,
I think there's tons of fun.
They're super fun from like 0 to 30. But then they max out at, I mean, like, so we've got a bunch at work. We've got a bunch of turbo razors. And like, sure, the thing will go 80 miles an hour for about 3 minutes before the belt blows up and something else breaks. And like the chassis flexes because it's bolted together. Like they're absolute garbage. So I think having like a proper UTV of some sort or like a cross cart, which would have to be a 2-seater. Sure.
Yeah.
Like there's actually the rage buggies. There's a guy that actually just ran one in Sandblast. We've actually been looking at buying some sort of buggy for the club. And so I met these guys, but they actually run one, which is a 2-seater. So it's a Hayabusa powered 2-seater sequential, which that is proper. I mean, that thing, but I don't know. I think UTVs are a bit of a.
But so can you? But you can't run that at ARA events, can you? Or is that considered a side by side?
No. So I actually was going to run a Sierra car at New England last year. They were like, "Yep, we'll put you in the thing, pay for everything," and but ARA was kind of all about it. But it was actually NEFR, the organizers or the landowners said it looked too much like a side by side. And they have trouble with side-by-sides on their land, and they don't want to like have spectators see that there's a side-by-side racing when they don't allow them to drive.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. Like I wish they would allow like the little like even the single seat cart things.
The cross carts?
Yeah, the cross carts, man. I mean, like I don't know why, sure you need 2 people, but rally solo is a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tricky. Just stuff's not street legal. I mean, you're already kind of pushing.
Oh, it's in Washington, man.
You're really pushing. We got pulled over on a transit in Washington.
What?
Yeah. No, we were pulling away from a stop sign when the Volvo was still the high compression 16 valve engine.
Yeah.
And it just had a glass pack on it.
Oh, so it's too loud.
Yeah, it's too loud.
Okay.
They get pulled over and the cops it was right there turning leaving the Ridge Motorsports as it turns onto the highway, taking a left.
Yeah.
Right by the cop shop.
Right by the cop school.
Yes, right by the jail.
Yeah, by the prison.
All right, so this is the side by side we all need, Robert.
That's what we need for rally racing, right there.
Oh man, I would race the shit out of that.
Oh, I mean, that thing's street legal.
Yeah,
it can be.
I used to think that like Baja bugs were stupid until I drove not class 11?
Class 5?
It's better. What's the super stock class? Is that class 11?
Yeah, it's class 11.
So slightly better than the class 11 car. I drove one of those through the Mojave at probably 70 miles an hour through the open desert on some little 2-track trail. Yeah. And it was so much fun. And it worked surprisingly well.
But see, I want to do something like this because of the entry point of what something like this would actually cost to build.
You mean the entry point of the tree branches going into you?
Yeah.
So, hey man, this is all a dangerous sport.
If you guys want a really inexpensive car to run, may I introduce you to the Mazda 323 GTX? Remove the turbo, and all of a sudden it becomes the cheapest car to run, as long as you don't hit trees or stumps.
I mean, look, I'm all about not having fun on stage, but
so Olympus,
at least my Nugget will fucking slide around and throw gravel at people.
Oh no, the GTX, if you set the suspension up, it is so short it'll try to swap ends, and it's terrifying.
And that's also how you ended up smashing into a bunch of stumps.
That was also because I was going over a 5- and kept it flat, and I shouldn't have kept it flat.
You have 90 horsepower. You're always flat.
Yeah.
And 90 horsepower is extremely generous, by the way.
No, okay.
That was 90 horsepower in 1991.
Right. Chris, you want to get in on this? I'm going to dyno this car before I actually build an engine for it. From the factory at the crank, it is rated for 107. It's now going through 4 wheels, and it probably has questionable amount of mileage. I assume 200 plus. My guess is 87.
Dude, I literally was just thinking 87 in my head.
I'm thinking 87 horsepower.
Yep.
We talking wheel horsepower, or are we talking back calculated? Wait, we talking back calculated crank horsepower or actual wheel horsepower?
No, what's on the dyno?
No.
All right, I'm writing this shit down.
I'm going lower. I'm going
Robert, you're at your desk, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not at my desk.
Yeah, grab a pen. I'm writing this stuff down because I can't find a pen out in the garage.
All right, what do we got? We got Cody.
Well, I can't say the same, so I'll say 86.
There you go.
86.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Matt.
I'm going with 67.
Ooh.
All right. Dude, that was close to mine. I was going to say 72.
I'm not going to lie. Tour de Forest felt significantly slower than
Matt Poland's in for 62.
All right. Yes, Jacob, it's all-wheel drive.
Jacob, yes, all-wheel drive.
Cody, what is your own guess?
My own guess was 87.
87. Okay. All right, there you guys go.
No, write it on a piece of
Oh
paper.
my
God damn it.
Oh god.
Or the,
There you go.
that was
It's now
perfect.
forever
it's not.
It
It's
is.
forever on Facebook on YouTube.
on YouTube.
Oh, it's only 50. Jacob,
Right.
I passed you at Olympus, and I was on your ass for miles. It has to have more than.
Have you
40
met
urban
Jacob? He is
diesel
like the
horsepower.
softest person ever. He doesn't want to hurt his car.
He is, right? So
I-
67,
and
that's
why
me.
folks had that I was on his ass the entire time. I wish I had in car. It was epic.
Matt P was 62.
I like Matt
Chris, what
Pullen
were
had
you?
per wheel.
What's that, Matt?
86.
86.
Chris 86.
And then Cody was 87.
Yeah, so
Are we doing Prices Right rules?
it's
I'll go with that.
going
And
up.
then
$1, Bob. $1.
Robert, what were you? 72?
I'm at 87.
72, yeah.
I'm actually writing this stuff down because I'm super curious.
No, I gotta, once all this stuff opens back up in Washington, I'll call English Racing and go get it tuned because it needs a tune really bad.
Oh, you should come down and get a beer with me then. I'll be in the
There you
hood.
go.
I should also take like a couple days off work because I need to.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody does.
We
All
have
right,
been insanely busy, so.
What, changing oil?
That's good.
Okay, Chris, since
Yep.
you're automotive related, are you considered an essential business? Or since it's a racetrack, is it considered like leisure activities?
So we are closed to members, which actually our first day would be tomorrow anyways if we were open. But we are able to keep our race shop open because it's a, same deal. But
Mhm.
yeah, we're changing oil on a GT3. And then I've got, my guys that like take care of the track and maintenance-y things happening. But that's really it. So there's no fun car stuff going on, unfortunately.
God, what was I just watching? One of your, like the pie while drifting? It was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
So
we
what do
do
you
stuff.
what do you do at the track?
So I actually went there as an instructor. I was actually driving down from New Hampshire, like 8 hours. I'd work for like 3 or 4 days. And then they offered me track director position. So 2015, I moved there and took care of all like the front end track operations, managed their race series, all the safety workers, all that fun stuff. Did that until actually last year. And then I just going into this season, I got a title change to director of fun. So literally like
Epic.
the coolest place on earth. I get to now worry about just the fun stuff. So we're adding a rallycross course to the track this year.
Yes.
And we've got a fleet of purpose-built Mazda 2 race cars that we are going to hold a rallycross school, like
Yes.
full-on European-style rally school.
Yes.
That's awesome.
We opened a rally school last year, so we've got like a proper little rally school. Actually, if I can screen share, I'll show you. How do I do this? Sure.
That was actually something I was curious about, was how the rally school thing was going and came about.
Is that working? Maybe.
Not yet.
Oh, there we go. I had to click on it. Okay.
Ah,
Can you see this?
no, not yet.
Hold on. So you have to share it, and then Matt has to share it.
Yeah, I know, but it's not showing up on mine yet.
Oh, wait. Lost permission to capture. Follow these steps. Oh, God. System. Okay. Give me a second.
Cool.
So just
If
letting
you
you
want to send
know.
me the link to where you're going.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's just my Instagram page has some. I mean, like I don't know, halfway down. I just shared the other day a shot of the rally school. But anyway, so
Yeah.
I'll make sure I don't close the wrong window. There we go. But yeah, so we opened a rally school last year, and this is all just for members. So like, you know, we've got almost 700 members, or almost 600 members, which are all into car stuff. They've all got plenty of money to have like 4 or 5 cars, and so I've had a couple guys literally did a 1-day rally school and bought a rally car the next day.
Wow.
So
Yes.
one of our members bought. I think it actually might be a former Dave Mira car, but a Vermont sports car, like production. Yeah, like
That's a great first rally car.
yeah, literally just like, yo, where can I buy one? And so I gave him some options, and he was like, anything. I was giving him like cheap options, like a first rally car.
Yeah. Oh.
And he's like, anything more official than that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the next guy actually bought an air cooled like Porsche, like a proper little
which is rad.
Yeah, so there's our at least portion of the rally school. We've got our skid pad, our slalom, some stage roads. But right now we have 4 Mazda 2s, which are basically a Ford Fiesta. I actually have M Sport Ford Fiesta suspension on them. And so yeah, it's just front wheel drive. It's a 1-day school. It's just to get the guys or get anybody that's interested to try it. But we're gonna end up, like I said, putting in a rallycross course on the big track, and have a couple rally crosses. We also are getting we have a tank. We have 2 tanks.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep seeing you post pictures and videos of you running over cars. Is that the tank owned by the track?
Yeah. So,
Do you get to crush the cars?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the coolest thing. So
It's like the best job ever.
Okay,
we have
if
a
you
personal
don't
carrier.
follow Chris on Instagram, you need to.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, we have a personnel carrier, which is like a little skid steer, super simple tank, and then we also have the big one. It's a Chieftain, so it's like a British battle tank, like a proper 62 tons or something, and so that one you literally that's all you do with it. You drive over a car, and you barely even feel it. It just pancakes it. So we've got a tank, we've got that, we've got a go-kart track. We're looking into buying a fleet of cross carts or buggies, whether it's like a Sierra car or like a speed car or something. But it's a motorcycle powered buggy. And then we've got a go-kart track with some rental go-karts. If you've ever seen a Sherp, it's like the water amphibious big balloon tires. We're getting one of those this season. Like, I mean, it's like literally anything fun, motorsports or car related you can think of. We're doing it, and I get to literally be the guy that's like, "Hey, this would be fun. Let's try this."
Okay, so more of a
she is.
professional question: how do I come work with you? Obviously, my work is not that busy. I work on Priuses. I was showing Matt earlier. I'm working on this
It's
terrible
basically
thing.
the same. I mean,
Yeah, I want to go have fun for a living. That sounds way more epic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a 1 in a million job. Every day I'm like, God, this is the coolest. Like, how did I land this deal?
Yeah,
And they
that's
pay me,
rad.
which is cool.
right? I think most of us would probably do that for free.
Do they realize that they pay you? Like, you didn't trick them into that, did you? Like, they're
No,
just like, take our money?
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
Okay, another non-rally related question, but it's slightly important. How did you get your dog to ride on the back of a scooter? Because my dog would not do that, and I want to teach her how to because it was epic.
Oh, she will do anything I tell her. She trusts me so much. She'll drive my jet ski with me.
What?
Sit on the front of like dirt bike and like sit on the front.
Dude, like, you were riding around like for a long way in that Instagram video, and she was just like hanging out, chill.
Oh yeah.
Didn't care. That was epic.
That's awesome.
She actually, when I worked at Team O'Neill, would jump in and literally like go hot. She'd lean against the door and just loved it from a puppy. So that's, I mean, we rescued her, and her day, like first day with us, I went to work and brought her with me, and she was just into it.
That's awesome.
Rad.
She actually
so
was cool as hell.
rad.
She used to run all around, and then we'd get done with our classroom. We'd go out to like the skid pad, and she would just like chill by the little cabin. She would just like hang out. Cars would be going by hot, and she knew when like the track was hot to just chill. She'd watch cars go by. People would make jokes like, "Yo, dude, I spun. Your dog was judging me." Like I could see she knew I lived.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh my god, that's awesome. All right. So, any other cool things coming up on your track as soon as you can get back to normal?
We just built a wet skid pad, so that'll be fun. We're gonna start doing some like drift schools of some sort. We have a partnership. We've got BMW as a partner there, but Porsche just came on, so we got a fleet of like 911s now. We got Minis coming on as a partner. We just signed a deal for getting some Himalayas, which are like a Porsche, like a Singer that rebuilds like air cooled Porsches. They do that with Land Rovers, so they refresh old Defenders. So we're gonna have 2 of those there. I mean, like this was supposed to be like the best season ever, and we'd have a bunch of new stuff going on. So we can't wait for stuff to actually start happening.
Can you do a version of that over in the Pacific Northwest for us?
Yeah, that would be awesome. So
we're all going and we're all sleeping on Chris's couch. This is our life now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll let my wife know I'm going to abandon her and go live on Chris's couch and work at a racetrack.
Heck yeah.
We can all live in a van down by the river. Okay, so once we're allowed to go outside, what's on the docket rally wise for you?
Depending on when we open, I'd like to do NEFR again, but if we end up opening like just before that, I probably won't bail because we're going to be busy. But NEFR for sure. It's my hometown. I get to go home and see my friends. My buddy Andrew actually commented on here earlier. He's my buddy that co-drove for me.
Yeah.
He had a blast. So yeah, we're gonna do that one again. And then ESPR now is literally 10 minutes from my house. And I won just in a drawing. I won a free entry this year for it. So
nice.
I got to go back and do that for sure. But we'll see. I mean, I ideally would run like a Snowdrift or 100 Acre Wood because time wise it's before the track opens. Sure. But it's always a money thing, so I don't want to spend it too much. I'm just having fun, and so to tow too far, right. Like my when the season starts, I work 7 days a week, and so my only time off in the summer, I take like a week off for New England and scoot up there. But other than that, I really don't have time in the summer. So
nice.
Yeah, I'd love to run Ohio. Someone just commented.
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet. I heard it's quite good.
I'm ready for them to release us from our houses.
Why your car's not even running?
But here's the reality: is I could get it running faster than say like the other, not you guys, but like the other yahoos that I talk to all the time before any of their shit gets done.
That's because I'm in control of one of those other Yahoo's cars. So I mean,
if I had gaskets, it would be running within the day. How about that? I mean, here's at least the nice thing about Subarus is they're freaking easy.
Oh yeah, it's like a Volkswagen and a motorcycle engine put together, and all the simplest bits of that. They're the easiest engines to work on.
Yeah, according to Alex, the RX-7 started once. Well, good for you, Alex. Maybe one of these days you'll race the stupid thing. Alex is.
Aren't they also building a 318 Ti as well?
Yeah, because Well, actually, the 318 is probably not the worst idea, but like
they've got the 2002 rally car as well.
That's true. Yeah.
2 rally cars in a household isn't enough. They needed 3.
Right. I owned 3 at one time, and I was by myself. At least he's married, and his wife has one. So
yeah, when your significant other also has a rally car, you've got
actually
problems.
A functioning rally car. How about that?
Much more functioning than his, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, very much so.
Does it count that I have 3 GTXs? Those count as rally cars?
No.
That's like saying, does it count that I have like 5 Volvos? No, it doesn't count.
I mean,
Cage logbook and ready to go. How about that?
One of them runs. The other one's for sale. If any of you would like a GTX,
nobody wants a GTX. Stop trying to push your garbage onto other people.
It has a cage. It's great. It's ready to go.
Yeah, how old of a cage?
Well, it's a bolt together half cage.
That's legal for nothing.
We should get back to those days when you could have a bolt-in cage. That'd be a nice way to go.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Matt,
circle track cars have the sketchiest cages ever.
God.
Oh, that's because
those are heavy cars racing real fast.
Yeah,
and they smash into concrete barriers.
not even like
For sure.
DOM tubing. It's just whatever they find at Home Depot.
They're getting better about it. There's like way less exhaust tubing roll cages being built,
Like
but
fence post.
Yeah, but they still use Kirky seats.
yeah. Dude, if you don't want to move and you want to feel the car moving, a Kirky seat's the way to go.
Yeah, if you want to die if you hit anything. Oh my god.
Were we allowed to run those like briefly as long as they were like tied in like 12 different places?
Yeah,
or
if they had
something?
like a back brace on them.
Yeah. They're like bottom mount and back mounted as well.
Yeah, that seems excessive. I
Wait,
think I'll
you
just
can still run a Kirky seat in Canada with an FIA homologated cage?
That's an odd loophole.
That sounds like
It's scary.
I wouldn't run one just because they're not comfortable. They're
yeah,
really
I've never
uncomfortable.
sat in one that actually
Hey.
fits me in any form or fashion.
I
It's my voluptuous hips.
I kind of see. I have really small hips, which is great, but I'm afraid that in a side impact, I might just like fold over the whole seat.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm good without aluminum seats. I'll stick to my I'll stick to what I got.
Okay,
All
well,
right,
I'm almost out of beer, so
alrighty, lads. Well,
night.
and it's like crazy late over at Chris's end of the world.
No, my kids are still up. It's fine.
Oh my god! Like it's
Just
8
give
o'clock
them some
here, and
energy
I'm
drinks
ready
and
to
just
go
keep
to
the
bed.
night rolling.
it's like the weekend. It's just the weekend every day at your place.
We've actually having tons of fun. We got a cool piece of property, toys, like
Yes.
Nice.
we've done
Dave
zero
Clark coming in
tours.
clutch. That is 100% true what happens in the Hornet class.
What?
It's 3 or 4 inch vertical steel pipe welded to the floor, welded to the ceiling with a
Yep.
1 foot square plate. That's all you need.
That's all you needed. It's terrifying.
That's still the rules for Hornet cars in some series.
So scary.
Yeah, it's so
That's-
sketchy.
I mean, like I'm no. I mean, I got low standards, but
So there's a dirt track 20 minutes from where we live that does the like Eve of Destruction every year, and they literally have an endurance race on dirt with anything. No cage.
What?
Just show up and drive.
Oh,
And it's like this like 8-mile dirt track with like 100 cars. They start bumper to bumper, and you just go. It's the coolest thing. So this year, if all goes well, I'll be in something. They'll have like
Cadillac DeVille.
yeah, there you go.
I think the thing that won last year was like an old like Chevy, whatever, like 1500 or something. Because everyone else was just, and it turns into bumper cars. But I
Yeah.
love that, the coolest racing ever.
That's pretty rad.
that sounds terrible.
And you can do it for like, I think the entry fee is like $3.
They make all their money on beer sales.
Well, yeah, concession sales, man.
Oh
There.
man.
Oh man. All right.
I do like
think,
me some circle track. It's good stuff.
I think we're gonna call it at that because let's be real. Like I need to go to bed because I'm fucking old. And I mean, it's 8 o'clock over here. Jesus Christ, people! How do you guys
I
stay up
need to
so
go
late?
home. I'm still at work.
You are still at work, but fortunately, you live like 4.5 minutes from work. So
5.5.
5.5 minutes. All right, fair enough. Well, anyways, Chris, thank you very much for coming and slumming it with us.
You got it. It was fun. I'll come back for sure.
All right, man. I'm gonna hold you to that. Robert and Cody, as always, you guys keep showing up. So, all right, we're gonna sign off, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good night.
Sweet guys. See ya.
Adios.